Hey friends, Ryan here, and today we're going to be looking at another one of my Mega MOCs, another skyscraper. Now I'll post a card at the end on the design process for this, but suffice to say, I found one in the Lego movie, the city that's at the beginning of it, that looks somewhat similar to this, and I liked it a lot, so I designed one in MLCAD to try and mimic it. But as you can see, there's a floor level, and then 10 other levels, and then a roof, which I'm about back as far as I can go in this room, and I can't quite get it all in frame, but you can see it's got the like penthouse things, maybe a restaurant and a pool or something, and then a little flag at the very top. So let's zoom in on some of these floors and see what we can find. Here we're going to start at the base. Now this one is symmetrical on all four sides. It uses these light, was it trans light blue or something, windows and doors, and I put these little studs on here to kind of give it a door handle effect. But if you look up and down the MOC, it's got these little columns here, so it's a 2x2 round brick and a 1x1 round brick stuck together like this. It gives it more depth and detail, which I very much am appreciating. Now this is kind of a flat front, but you'll notice on some of the other levels it does have some depth to it. One thing to note is I put these on here to hold it in place. There's 4 of them, rather than tiles, because the ones that are the jumper plates with the 2 on each side aren't really made in blue very much. And if you use the 1x2 jumper plates, they don't line up on the bottom. So, fun fact, don't use those when you're making modulars. But I think this looks pretty good. It gives it that open effect. I could put something in the middle here, maybe tile this up and put like a elevator shaft and then a concierge desk or whatever you want to call it up there. So that's pretty fun. Next, we'll go to the top level since it's right here. Now this, I actually had to do some surgery on when I was trying to assemble the building, because when it's like, it sits like this, and when it's like that, you can't get up in there to push the, which we'll show in a minute here, the clips together. If you push down on the top, it hits on the outside, it doesn't really sit to where it pushes. I'll just show you here. See, I put these 1x1 studs here to hold it in place, and it just doesn't work. You have to get in there and actually push the base of this down onto them. So I took this off and made it into 2 separate pieces. And I think what I'm going to do is take this section off, put a row of tiles under it, and maybe a stud on each corner or something, so that will just sit on here. And then you won't be able to see the seam, because if you take this, you push it, it doesn't really go together, as you saw when I just tried to pick it up. Anyway, let's quit rambling. So this is the top. It's got this cool little flag blowing in the breeze. Then it kind of cascades out and gives you these little areas. Like this could be just a top lookout tower. This could be another lookout congregation area. Maybe they serve drinks or something on that level. And this level is like a restaurant. And then this level is another reception area and maybe a dance hall or something fun. I don't know. Obviously, there's not levels on the inside, as I just showed you here. But, you know, you can imagine. It's about minifig scale. So that'll do it. So if we take this and look inside here, you can see kind of what I'm talking about. You'd have to push right on these corners here to get it to lock into place. And obviously, with the roof on, you can't do that on the top level. But I think it looks pretty neat for a top of a skyscraper. Hope you think so too. It's kind of repetitive building it, but it is nice to use these corner pieces so that they all interlock. I built some where it's just a row of flat pieces going up to the roof, and it just, you can push on each individual layer and it'll fall through. But this way, they're interlocked like Lego bricks should be. So that's great. The base, you can see here, I used the same base for this and all 10 of the levels, so they're all the same. I just use these 4x8 plates like this in a series of, let's see, maybe you can see it better here. It's 2 by whatever white plates to kind of lock it together, and there's some 1 by plates in there just to lock them all together and build a solid base for it. Now this was one of the earlier ones. If you look at something like this, one of my other skyscrapers, I use this kind of lattice network here to hold them together because it's significantly cheaper to do something like this than it is to do the full floor like this. And I even was halfway there. I left the middle out because, you know, unless you're going to build up each level on the inside, you don't need a full floor. So there you go. Because you never see it anyway, you know, once it's together. But I can and do appreciate interiors, and I do have some buildings that are like that. Alright, so here we go. Now this one, these main levels are the only ones that aren't symmetrical on, you know, both sides. So this, I designed kind of like they had a walkway here with translucent railings, I guess you'd call it. So I figure this is, each one of these floors, it's like an apartment building, you know, split either in half or 4 ways to where each one has a little balcony they can look off of. Maybe this is the hallway getting to them or something. But it's got these 3 windows, and this is what I was talking about the depth. See, these windows open in, you could just as easily have switched them to where they open out, but then it wouldn't be flat. This way, it's got the slope pieces that kind of stick it out, and then it goes back in, so it's kind of like a depth. You know, it's not just a flat nothingness. You can see all the shadow and all the intricacies of the build. So I'm learning. I used to build them all flat just because I thought it looked neat, but this, I kind of like this. It's very depth oriented. Now on the top you can see I have a 1x4 and a 2 2x2s here. This is where I was using those 1x2 jumper plates that wouldn't fit. So I kind of had to wing it, and I put these little studs on the outside or on the corners to hold all the levels in place, and I happen to have enough tiles to do the rest of it. And I actually used some grill plates because I had those and ran out of tiles, but you can't tell once it's assembled because all you see is the edges. Anyway, so on this side you can see it's got the doors, it's got a window in the middle, and this little pattern here I think looks pretty neat. It was kind of a pain to build, very repetitive, because you know there's 4 of them on 10 levels, so I had to build 40 of these little things here, and they're all kind of mirrored and backwards. So I'll admit, messed up a couple of them, but fixed it, got there in the end. But yeah, I like this. It adds a little depth. Another thing could have been to, rather than the stair step, just build a flat ramp across, which, you know, could be done. It'd be a little bit more difficult, but hey, whatever works, right? But these also have the little studs as doorknobs. Add that little extra detail on there in the blue and the white. And you can see the whites. Some of them are discolored, especially some of the tiles. Very yellowed, but I think that just again adds a little color to it. See, even some of the plates are discolored there. So I hope you enjoyed this look at this nice little, well, it's not really little, it's a Mega MOC, right? So let me know what you think. Hopefully you like it, and you can see all the, shaking the camera too much. There's all the other levels, the other 9. But yeah, leave me a word and let me know what you think. I sure appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time. Keep it real. Later.